Hey viewers, Hexcraft here. Before we get started, a few things. First off, this video is something I was going to do back when the lobby was announced, but things happened in my life and a lot happened since that kept being pushed back. But now that Braum was announced, I thought, why not? Let's make the video. This list is basically going to be a list of each champion, saying who is most likely to be added, who could be added, and who's probably not going to be added. And some people are going to comment saying that there's only a limited amount of people being added Hex, but that's the initial release. This is Riot we're talking about, and Riot's going to add everyone they can. So yeah, this video is also going to be very much a rambling video. Really much of a, I'm just going to keep talking, no cutting or editing and such, except this intro probably. And yeah, best to treat this as more of like a podcast audio than an actual video. The only visual that is going to be the chart list I have made. And yeah, it's probably gonna be a long one. So I hope you all enjoyed, and let's get into it. As said already, this is the setup. Yeah, basically already I have the ones that are confirmed up there. So starting off, Aatrox. Yeah, most likely, like, big sword wielding possession trope thing. We have that in fighting games. And honestly, he has a dash in, an area control with his grab tether. His ultimate literally could be a super he could turn into. And a cool mechanic would be his Q, where if the idea of he does have a 3-hit combo like that, but if you get the sweet spot, it does extra, or the knockup, to do like a better juggle. So yeah. Akali, yeah, again, I think that's the most likely. A lot of dashes, a lot of engage. Technically her passive, where she's spinning her weapon on that rope, very much could be its own weapon. Like, again, very much a lot more to do with her, very much more like traditional ninja style, media ninja stuff. Her shadow, however, the smoke screen, I don't think that's going to be very well used, because exactly how would you implement that? Because the area would either have to be big enough that it affects a large zone, which at that point it's just keep spamming that, or it would be probably something that is small and not that good. Maybe it'd be used more as a visual thing, as like a backdash. But all in all, I think she's most likely. Akshan, I'd say he could be. Problem with him is the fact of, besides his gun, he has a grappling hook and a boomerang, which, yeah, it'd be a swing inwards and maybe back out mobility, but besides that, just gun, boomerang, and swinging around. I don't think he has any really interesting move sets that I can think of right away, because his stealth and his ultimate are a bit hard to implement. His ult will probably be a super ability, while his stealth, again, stealth in a fighting game really doesn't work that well. Alistair, very much definitely. Charge in, knockups, defense abilities, kinda, but it could just be like special keyframe blocks and such. All in all, the only thing I don't think he would be able to get into this game really with would be his healing. So, all in all, yeah. Amumu, I would say a maybe, or could be. I mean, again, hasn't engaged with advantages. Tantrum very much being a thing. The cry being an attack. I feel like it'd be fun because a lot of the animations might not even be him attacking you. It could be the idea that he's doing stuff like, oh, he tripped, or oh, he just cried. He didn't actually mean to hit you. It's just the fact of his animations look like they're kind of goofy and fun like that, So, could be, but there is some parts that I feel like restrict him. Again, very limited, very much just headbutt, tantrum, tier, and pull in, but still, I don't think there's any cool mechanic to think of, though. Anivia? No. No. She's a bird. Like, her hitbox would be bigger, like, wide as fuck, first off. And ability-wise, I think her stun and her throwing ice the only ones I could see, but there's other champions that have similar abilities, so yeah. Annie? funny enough, I think Annie could be a maybe. And it's not because, like, oh, she has her shield, she has her cone of damage. More so the concept of her swinging Tibbers around like a weapon. Like, imagine she swings Tibber upwards in a playful way, and then the giant demon bear hand just slaps upwards, knocking you up. Or a slam attack is her throwing Tibbers up in the air and him belly flopping. Overall, I think Annie could be an interesting concept if they balance around the idea of Tibbers is the one doing most of the damage. Aphelios. Knowing Riot, they might want to try to bring Aphelios in. I don't know how weapon swap would work fully, but to be fair, some of his weapons would be very useful and very cool. Again, Sniper would be very much the idea of playing sort of a ranged character, like the fucking cowboy from fucking Mortal Kombat. Very much the idea of that. Again, his healing sickle probably wouldn't be doing healing. His area denial with his turret. The chakrams would probably be quick attacks that hit multiple times but do less damage. Flamethrower being a higher area effect. Black hole being very much slow kind of things. I feel like overall he could be, but there's too many issues. Ashe, I feel like it could be, but it's more so the fact of the idea of her abilities are she can change them depending on the ice. Again, Hawkshot fires off an actual ice bird. She shoots ice arrows that the bow creates. Her ult a giant ice arrow, so yeah, very much a mobile character who does combos with bow. Again, a Hawkeye kind of character, so it could be. But I think it's limited because there's another champion way later I'll talk about that is very much similar. Aurelion Sol, I would say no. Again, a lot of his stuff is AoE and just ranged blasts, and overall, I don't think he would be as fun in a fighting game. And there's concepts that could be there for a fighting character, maybe just tail slaps, claws, but it was the Star Forger aspect of his design. Azir, I feel like is a could be. Again, it very much is the idea similar to Annie, where it's not just Azir attacking, but the animations would be his soldiers coming out of the sand and doing the attacks. Which would be a very interesting concept. Imagine one spear rushing you as a dash, and then he dashes that soldier to basically try to avoid an attack and get behind you before doing a combo of a knockup, which would lead a soldier spawn doing a upward strike. Overall, I think it'd be cool, and yeah. Bard? Again, Bard is, I don't think Bard would be a thing. Again, his auto attacks and his meeps, yes, but overall, everything else is just heal, portal to dodge, which could be the idea of, like, he's portal dashed, like, behind you, and then his ult to stun, but again, overall, I feel like his kit is a little too restricted. Do we really have to question if Bel'Veth will be in this? Like, again, Bel'Veth is very much built for a fighting style. A lot of slaps, a lot of dashes, knockups for combos, enhanced form with her ultimate. Very much definite. Blitzcrank, again, most likely a knockup. His hook actually be more of an engage, so instead of pulling him to you, he pulls you to him. Cool combos and such. Ultimate probably be his super ability of an area of damage. Passive shield, I don't know if that'd be a thing. I don't know if the lightning would be a thing either. But overall, again, even his overclock would technically be a cool ability he could have, which is sort of a playstyle of, yeah, you get the advantage now, but after it wears off, you're at disadvantage, so you have to play it proper. Strong character. Brand, again, as a mage, he's very limited, and I feel like Brand is one of the mages that I could not see be in this game. His abilities are a little too limited, in my opinion. Caitlyn, I would say she's an ADC that could be. Again, more of the idea of her using her traps, different types of bullets maybe, her neck gun, all that. And of course, her ultimate, again, would probably be something that is more of an ultimate ability, a super move. Meter move, basically. Camille? Yes. Yeah. A lot more playstyle similar to how, say, she moved in the Echo game, where she would be more mobile with her basically little grappling side hooks on her thighs. A lot more kicks and spins and all that. I don't think her ultimate would translate that well, and who knows, maybe a super move would be her actually scissor slicing with her legs. Cassiopeia, I think, could be, as a mage, again, an area denial with her poisons, and more or less the idea that her main attacks would be her little venom bite spell. Her ultimate would probably be, again, the ultimate, and that'd be really cool to see, honestly. Like, the idea of trying to combo it instead of the idea when you see the enemy trying to do a team attack. If you time it right, you can get both of them, which will give you an easy double juggle, which would be very cool. Cho'Gath, there is possibility, but I feel all in all, he is just too limited with his abilities. So again, the roar, the claws, and the bite could work. The knockup, But again, it's just the fact of big hulking monster with huge hitbox, which abilities and effects would probably not be as cool. Corki as well feel limited. Again, there's possibility there, but overall, the idea of the flying ace would be kind of because it would basically, animation-wise, not be that mobile. Different bullets and rockets probably, and attacks, but all in all, I would say he could be. But gameplay-wise, also, he would also be a very big model, and at the same time, it'd be goofy watching him hover around, do a aerial juggle, and then go back to the ground, even though he's in a flying vehicle. Diana. I feel like Diana has a high chance of getting in. Again, dashes, combo strikes, moon attacks to try to maneuver the enemy into places that would help her ally attacks. Very much a good with certain characters combo style. Mundo, again, I feel like he is a most likely because big brute, swings, heavy attack could be him using his enhanced attack. He could have the cleaver as a range denial. His area damage could just be a quick area attack instead of a effect that keeps going. The only part I don't see working really is his healing. I don't know how that would be implemented. Of course, Draven's going to be in this. It's a fighting game. He's a show-off. They probably will try to find a way to implement his axe catching, which might be a part of his combo buildup. Again, his maneuverability, his throwing attacks, his ultimate being his ultimate. Kind of a simple style. Elise, I feel like, has a problem because it's the same thing a lot of these are going to have with the shapeshifters. How do you balance her human and spider on top of the fact you'd have a partner with her? Because that would be the idea that your opponent has 2 champions. You technically would have the moveset of 3 champions. She could be the cool idea of like having her swap between the close range spider and the long ranged, again, human, but I feel like there's limitation. Evelyn, we saw from Soul Fighter, has possibility, except I feel like the problem there is the invisibility. I don't think the invisibility would translate that well. And she's very much an ambush predator, so the engage would be a bit weird. But again, I feel like she could be. Cool concept. Great style. Ezreal, again, he's mostly just range. And I feel like that is the limitation for Ezreal. He doesn't have anything unique, in my opinion. The dash, yes. His ultimate being a cool special move, yes, but overall, I don't think Ezreal would make a good fighter. Fiddlesticks is it could be. Very much the idea of throwing down a fake Fiddlesticks and sort of doing a swap around move, similar to a character I believe is in Guilty Gear. Basically, cool style of attacks. Drain, of course, throwing crows. His area effect, his ultimate would probably be a super move of some kind. Again, it'd be fun, but again, he would also probably lose a bit of his concept of being this ambush attacker, similar to how Evelyn would lose that as well. Do I have to even talk about Fiora? Like, she's the Grand Duelist, I'm pretty sure her title was. So yeah, I think she has a high chance of being in this. Dashes, enhanced attacks, combos. Probably be equally as annoying in there as she is in League. Fizz, again, I feel like he could be. But again, there are just some factors as well. Because again, the enhanced auto attack ability would probably not be moved into the game. Dash arounds he has, yeah. Evades, cool. I feel like he would need a strong ally to help him right through. So very much the hard-hittingness of Alawi or Braum we saw with juggling, where Fizz would be able to dash in and aid his ally, but still be a pain in the ass by himself. Galio, I feel like he is a very much engage heavy frontline kind of ally. I feel like he's most likely going to be added, and very much similar to, again, Braum, Alawi, Darius, a sort of get in their face and do hard-hitting, juggle hard-hitting attacks. Just a run at the enemy and slap. I feel like Gangplank could be in this game. Overall, there are some parts that I don't think would fit that well. Mainly, how would you do his ultimate? Very much a Ken Barrage, which you'd have to limit the size or make it so that it's just a quick blast and not a continuous one like in game. His barrels, I feel like, as hazards would be interesting, but how would you target them specifically and trigger them? Or how would the enemy target them? Try to counter them? His flaming sword, I feel like, would just be a aesthetic at most, maybe a burn effect, but something with a trigger and an attack combo probably. And of course, Parlay's gun, doable. Oranges, I don't know if they'd have the anti-CC oranges in this, but if they did have the oranges, I feel like it'd be funny. Sorry there. It'd be funny if he actually threw them, like how Braum can like throw a Poro. Imagine getting hit with an orange that does like 5 damage. It'd be humiliating and hilarious to die to it. Garen, definitely. Spin's just very much an air denial, but it wouldn't be a continuous spin. His rush forward, a heavy hit auto would probably be a combo attack or a heavy hit attack. His defense would probably be more of a quick defense block, not a full-on, I have a shield now. Super is an ultimate. Gnar, again, shapeshifter problem. He could be, though. Imagine a quick-paced Gnar turning into Super, the Mega Gnar. Or maybe it's not going to be Little Gnar at all, it's only going to be Mega Gnar. Gragas, yes. Throwing the barrel would be a combo attack, slapping on the barrel, belly flops. All there. Gragas is already made for this. Graves, I feel like similar to Caitlyn, is very much the multiple different types of ammos and such. But I think Graves has more of an advantage going for him to be in the game, being a close range opponent instead of a long range sniper. Sort of the idea of him slaps you with the butt of the shotgun or blasting you with it combo. Again, Gwen's a in-your-face character, which I think would be very much the idea of you've seen her top lane, you know she fit in this game mode. Hecarim, I'd say is a maybe. Again, the kit is kind of rough when it comes to the idea of Hecarim could be in the game. there's possibilities of him being in there, but his size of his model also is limiting. Out of all the big characters we've talked about so far, I think he is the most limited, but has a good chance. Because again, the horse body is somewhat of a difficult thing to balance size-wise, but I feel like he has a chance at least. Heimerdinger? No, very much the idea that his turrets are necessary. He's a small, annoying kind of sized character, so I wouldn't think they'd put him in the game because he'd just be a pain in the ass. Relia, definitely. Dashes, slashes, combo breaks, possibly a mechanic for adding more of her blades to her style, similar to her passive works, enhancing her autos. Cool concept and all. No, Ivern would not be in this. Again, the idea of like, well, he could do what Annie did, summon Daisy instead. It'd be a cool concept to watch Ivern just move around the field, act goofy, and not actually try to hit you while like nature does the damage. But I feel like there's better characters. Again, Annie's style of play would be similar to that, like she's playing around, but Tibbers is fighting you. And the idea that a Mumu is just being clumsy and accidentally hurting you. Ivern, at that point, I feel like they don't need to add Ivern. Janna, again, limited with her abilities. Nothing really that would fit in a fighting game. Jarvan, yeah, I think there's a chance Jarvan will be there. He is built to be an interesting character with his spear attacks and such, or his lance, I guess. I don't know exactly which one to call it, but very much his engage dashes, his combo uppercuts. His slam would probably be sort of a heavy combo, not creating the wall that is, but the animation of him slamming down. Overall, he has a chance. Jack, similar to Fiora, don't need to explain it. His entire character concept is why he's there. Jace, I feel like similar to the Transformers and the Shapeshifters, has more likely of a chance. I say is most likely because the idea of his attacks would probably be limited so that his ranged abilities are shorter to mid-range, while his heavy hitting attacks would be his hammer combos. Jhin, again, very artistic. There's a lot you could do with his abilities, especially his 4-hit combo he'd probably have. I would say Jhin probably has one of the higher chances of ADCs, if not one of the best chances after like Jinx. But again, it's the idea that the flashy, colorful look of Jhin would be very much the same as Jinx. Kai'Sa, I do not think would be in this game. Too many just projectiles and too much just range. Kalista, minus her little shadow friend, I feel like Kalista could be. Imagine instead of her ult throwing a marked ally, it throws your it throws your partner into the fight, but aggressively. Sort of a meter move that gives you a hard-hitting, quick engage. Very much plays off the idea of bouncing between your ally and her. Karma could be, but not as a hard, cool damage. Probably much have to reinvent some of her attacks. Imagine instead of throwing a blast of energy, she throws slashes and cool light effects, enhancing her ally or giving special buffs. So instead of coming out and giving a attack to the enemy, which she still could, imagine she came out and gave a shield real quick. Kind of style. Karthus, I thought this over because Karthus would be terrifying, and I think could be. Very much the idea that his Q would be his heavy attacks, with him swinging his staff as his normal attack. His area ability would probably be not a full-on zone, but more of a quick blast. His slow would be an area hazard you have to be careful of. His ultimate, I think, would be a super move, of course. But the thing that I think that would be the coolest concept, imagine his gimmick was the fact that he wants to die. He wants to go out of the fight. Because while he is on the bench, he can still perform his moves to aid his ally. So instead of just being dead, can't do anything, while he's dead, he can still use like abilities in that. Again, it'd probably be broken and probably be horrible to deal with, but it's a concept. Kassadin, I feel like does have the abilities. Again, dashes, ultimate, area denial, ranged, slices of his blade. All in all, I feel he could be, and they probably could invent him very well. We've seen Katarina already design-wise, so a high chance she's already going to be there. Kale, I'd say is a could be. Again, cool concept for a character. However, it'd be a weird, interesting thing to see them try to implement her passive into the game. And then also her ultimate of just saving herself. But maybe the idea that her ultimate would be more of an ally saving super. Or a sort of brief moment of invincibility during a fight kind of idea. Kain, I say could be, mainly because the issue is, how would you balance and decide his transformation? Would you add his transformation? Would the player be able to choose before the fight to start? Could you, say, have Roth and Kain as a team? It'd be interesting. Kennen, again, I feel like this could be. Very much just the idea of quick dashes, ranged, and ninja-style attack. Very much similar to a fighting Naruto game, kind of. Kha'Zix, again, is a could be. Again, 1v1s is his kind of specialty, his style, so why not a fighting game where that would be the case? Kindred, I feel like, is a most likely, honestly, because of all the dashes, combos, and styles of hers. Only thing I don't think would work really well would be her ultimate preventing death. Besides that, I think their abilities do have some possibility. Kled is a could be, mainly because I don't know how you'd balance Scarl and Kled, because you couldn't let him get back on Scarl after he gets knocked off. That'd be very horrifying to give him a redo on his health bar in a fighting game. So I feel like the combo would be that they're always together, so his passive is gone basically. But again, the backdash denial area of the shotgun, his combo hits, his dash-ins, all that I feel like would be there. Kog'Maw's a no. Again, just pure projectile and nothing really too fancy. K'Sante, I feel like, is a most likely, because again, he's very combo heavy, very dash heavy. His styles could very much be translated into a fighting game. LeBlanc, I would say, could be, again, her styles does have a bit of possibility for a fighting game, but I feel like there's also some limitation as well, because, again, no one wants to get rooted in a fighting game. And also the idea of her just dashing around over and over and leaving a clone behind just to take damage. No fun there, you know? Lee Sin, I know he'll be in there. Again, it's the concept. He, as a fighting game character, is just so obvious. Leona, I would say, also is a could be. Mainly because, again, you have to change a lot and do some tweaking. But overall, again, her shield bash, stun kind of thing leading into an actual combo would be more of a style. Her engage dash their sword. Her defensive shield ability, I don't know if that would fully translate well, but as an area explosion, it'd be cool. And also maybe, instead of being no damage, she instead can't be juggled, which I should point the idea that Mundo's passive of not taking CC, I feel like would give him an out from being juggled, like one out, and that's it. Lilia, I feel like could be, again, very mobile, very engaged, in-your-face combo. The problem, again, is the model, because how do you balance the size of Lilia as a, like, deer body with a human torso? And very much also the idea of her ball. How would that really work? Because, again, it could be a projectile attack, but I feel like that'd be too easy to avoid or be too easy to land if you point blank it, and there probably wouldn't be no burn damage on this character. Moving on, Zandra. Zandra is the could be, if not an almost likely. It's that she's on the high side, similar to Lilia. Again, only problem being the idea of she is very limited as a mage. The idea of throwing ice spikes upwards, causing a shockwave effect to freeze. The rooting is where I'd say the line gets crossed. But overall, I think she has a possibility. And again, her ultimate basically being the idea of maybe for her defense move, a block, she turns herself into ice. And very much the idea she freezes her enemies, they're basically super. In fact, actually, I'd probably say she is most likely, so I'm over there. Lucian. I think Lucian has a very high chance. His dash combo, like, strikes and that, does seem like it could be a good ranged fighter. Again, limitations very much being more so the idea of, besides blast, dash, what else is there? But Lucian could also do swings with his attacks, and very much, I would say, also his ultimate would translate pretty decently. He has more of a likeliness than, of course, Akshan. So I'd say yes, he has a most likely chance. Lulu, I don't see a possibility of Lulu. Again, there might be, but Lulu I feel like is the most limited. There really isn't any cool thing I can think of. Like, again, maybe Pix doing the attacks, but the idea of her CCing and all that does not seem fun. Maybe some cool mystical attacks. It's like she summons something on accident and all that, but there's other champs that could do something like that as well. Lux, no. Just no. A root, an area explosion, her self-shield, and her ultimate. I feel like Lux could have a concept, but it would not at all reference her actual kit. Except again, super move ultimate. But yeah, no, I don't think Lux would be doable in this scenario. Malphite? Yeah, no, I think it could be. Again, engaged attacks and all that. Dash, probably not being his ultimate dash, but you know, it could be actually though. Like a lesser version, not damage-wise, so it's like an engaged knock-up. Again, model size is the problem. Overall, though, I feel like he is one of those big tanks that could. This is a quick one. Malzahar, no. Nothing really interesting. Maokai could be, again, dashes, knockbacks, area hazard, little summons a friend kind of thing. Ultimate probably wouldn't root, or if it does, it would probably be very much just there to help him get into you and in your face. I feel like he'd be one of the most mobile of the big characters as well, really, though. So, yeah, interesting concept. Mastery, I'm not even going to explain it. It's Mastery, of course. Milio, again, support doesn't have too much in the case of being an aggressive attacker. And very much more shows the idea of support healing and that. And healing in a fighting game should be rare as fuck. Misfortune. I think it could be. And honestly, the reason I put her as a could be is more so because her style of the dual pistols fighting close range. Actually, I'm going to say it's probably going to piss off certain mains, because I would say actually Misfortune's style of the dual pistol fighting combat, her abilities give her so much more to like do. And the other character that's similar in style, I'd say, is Lucian, who, compared to Misfortune, I would say has less to offer in your variety of abilities. So I'm gonna have to move Lucian to could be. Misfortune is the most likely in comparison to the two. Again, Riot probably can think of 1,000 ways to make them unique and interesting, but from the baseline that I'm thinking of, it's very much the idea that one or the other. Mordekaiser, of course. In your face, hard damage. His shrapnel thing probably wouldn't be as powerful or activate as much as it could. or work the same way at all. His ultimate probably would be his super, which more or less makes it so that you can't call in your ally. Overall, big enemy, cool design, simple. Morgana is a could be. I would say very much very simple style. The range, CC, and burn probably would not be a thing, but there is the idea of still this dark angels, dark magic, and all that. It'd be very unique. They'd have to change her a bit, but she could be an interesting denial character. The Fury could be. Again, limitations very much being the idea of her size of her model, being a smaller one with a weird hitbox in nature. At the same time, just very much dashes, slashes, flips, and tricks. Probably her combos also will have her dogs as well involved, doing maybe like a secondary hit afterwards. Nami's a no. No. Again, there's some concept of swinging her staff and throwing bubbles and such, but again, very much CC and healing. Nasus, I would say, is a most likely. I don't think they could bring his stack combo or his burn. His enhanced form, of course, is something we'd probably see. Sort of his swing attacks and all that. Stacking, again, I really think there could be a possibility of finding a way to implement that, but I don't think they really could implement stacks into the fighting game. Unless the idea of concept of maybe as he builds up his combo meter, if he performs a stack attack, it burns the combo meter and does extra damage depending on the level of the combo. The idea of risking a high combo to do that maximum big hit or secure it. Nautilus, I think as it could be, honestly. Concept-wise, has an engage, hard swings, big tanky juggler. Again, size is the issue with his model, but again, gotta balance that for a lot of these characters. Galio's the size of basically a gigantic statue, and Malphite's a mountain. So yeah, Nico, I think, is a could be. Design-wise, they'd limit her range probably. Not as many AoEs as she has, and how would she work transformation-wise? That's the big issue, which we're gonna come to that again later as well. Because how would Nico transform? Would she turn to look like her ally to try to trick you? But that would not work after a moment, you know? Unless while you're swapping allies, you're able to turn Nico off the map and pop out as someone else. Nidalee, transformation, again, very much similar to Elise. How do you balance the range and the melee one? Does she just turn into a tiger for brief moments? How do you work that? That is the issue, but she could be. Again, I can see it. The idea of her combo being spear throw, spear thrusts, dashes in as cat, does a claw attack, turns back human. Kind of quick attacks, basically, swapping between the two. Neela, whips, very much see her being able to translate into the game pretty well. Nocturne, I would say he's a hard one, honestly. I put Nocturne very much in the could be to maybe section. Again, could be, but also most likely. Again, very much obvious hits attacks, spell shields, more or less like block ability, dash engage, ultimate kind of style, fear. I don't know if fear would work in a fighting game really, but all in all, it's limited because of his kit. Nunu, I feel like, could be in the game. Very much the combo team fight. The idea that the heavy attacks are Willem, the light attacks are new Snowball. The engage could be them doing the giant roll Snowball. The ultimate, again, basically a meter move. Concept-wise, I think it's doable. Olaf, 1%. Be a cool fighting style. Throws the axe, goes in. very much a heavy hitter with no real dashes, similar to Darius doesn't have any dashes. His super basically meter attack could probably be him going into his rage. The idea of him doing more damage, and you can't maybe juggle him so that your attacks hit him, but he doesn't get CC'd by it and can't juggle. Ori, I think, is too limited with ball to really do well in this. Ornn's a possibility. I feel like it very much go more off of the fire. His charge in, his throwing his rupture rock, the ram being a super move, his fire breath, denial kind of style, hammer swings and all that, big heavy hits. Foraging a weapon, I don't know how that would work. Maybe after a certain combo, he can give his ally a small benefit for a short while. Overall, though, I think the forge aspect is where it gets stuck. Pantheon, yeah, no. Dash engage, thrust of his spear is a heavy attack, throwing the spear, ultimate basically being a super move, shield block to basically just be a block attack. Pantheon is a very much styled character that couldn't be translated very easily. Similar to actually Poppy here. Poppy, I feel like, again, very much an anti-dash would be a cool concept to stop the opponent's engage, which allows her to get her engage. Her dash will probably not be a slam into the wall dash, but if it is, it'd be a very limited one. We're going to try to force your opponent into that corner. Her super being a knockup might be a super still, but also her ultimate could just be her heavy knockup. All in all, cool style. Biggest issue with her is the size of her model. Yordle's having that issue entirely, though. Pike, I feel like, is limited, so it could be, though. Again, pull in, quick dashes, cuts up the opponent, combo slices, ultimate probably biggest remove, if not just a downwards attack reference. I would not give him an execute probably, but overall, cool concept, nice playstyle probably. Limitations being his invisibility, really. Kiana, I hate to say it, but she could be. The only part that I don't think would be translated so well is her element. I don't know how you translate that, really. Quinn. I don't know. I'd say she's a could be. Again, it'd be very much a ranged character, but again, crossbow and bird being limitations of her abilities. Rakan, I would say very much a good engage, slap heavy juggle tank with lots of dashes. So he's a most likely, which would only really also work if Xayah get that as well. If Xayah's not into the game with him as a two teammate game, I feel like this would be very limited and challenging. Rammus, sorry, I don't think Rammus could fit the game very well. He's very much a good tank, but getting hit to do damage isn't going to translate that well. Rek'Sai, that could be, honestly. Honestly, it's most likely. Dashes in, knock up, heavy hit combos. Again, all in all, I think the best thing for Rek'Sai as well would be tunnels. Sort of a dash that you can't get hit during. But the idea of, like, she's limited to, like, one at a time. Rel is a could be. Again, the swap between is the big problem, but the engage and hard hitting attack she could do to chain combo enemies into letting her ally then do damage, probably really good. No to Renala. No to her, because again, really nothing that could work. Her kit, her ultimate would be useless. Her saving person's live would be kind of not fun to play against. At best, her grab is her only real ability, I could say. But yeah. Renekton, I feel like it is a most likely. Again, this combo is very much area denial, quick 3-hit dash, strike, dashes, all that. Rengar, as could be. His ambush would be probably his ultimate super move again. Again, his jump off a bush tactic probably would not be a thing unless it spawns a bush, but his leap attack could be his engage dash. Sort of a slow for his throw, his Q being a heavy attack maybe in a combo, and his roar being an area denial. I'm not even going to argue it. Riven's giving me the game. Let's all be real for a sec. Combos, enhanced forms, dashes, area denial, yeah. Rumble could be, again, model size is a big issue. Flamethrower being balanced in the game would be an issue. Shield would probably not be a thing. Maybe, who knows. And ultimate probably also would probably be an annoyance to try to balance that in, but I think there's possibility. Rise, again, is a could be. I would not argue that he is a no, but he's a could be. Very much so because he is not a long-range mage, and he is very much combo champion in League, so be cool to see how they translate that. Samira, most likely, let's be real. They made an entire game mode with the idea she was in a fighting game. Sejuani. I think the biggest issue for Sejuani is a lot of her stuff requires to freeze people. But again, freeze into a combo. It's one of her abilities very much with auto attacks. And the idea of her ultimate kind of freeze would be probably an issue, but again, it could be an ultimate. But I think Sejuani could be. Again, size is the big issue. Senna, minus spirits, I feel like Senna has a chance. Multiple attacks, dashes, her ghosty form, probably no. Her root would probably just be more of a get out attack. But her swinging that big weapon like she does in a lot of her like emotes would probably be an attack style. Moving on, Seraphine. No. Her get I don't think could be translated that well at all. Again, range slows, area effects. I feel like Seraphine is too limited for a fighting game. Set. Again, he's pretty much made for a fighting game. Shaco, I would say, is a could be. The big issue really being his visibility would not be a long-lasting thing. Probably basically just shadow dash behind someone. His clone, I would say, probably would be sort of a ultimate move that lets him mimic his previous attack. Or it could be part of his combo. Think of it as he does 2 light attacks with his real body, and then does a flip where his clone does 2 light attacks. His Bach, again, would probably be a area hazard, but no fear, I would say. Unless the fear would lead into a juggle combo. Shen, minus the ultimate, I feel like he is most likely. Biggest thing blocking Shen, in my opinion, besides the ultimate, I'd say, is his area of defense. Because I don't think it would last as long as it does. Shyvana, as of right now, I'd say no. Or, I'd say could be. Again, there's possibility there. But possibility is limited because transformation in size and such, and her actual combo abilities are very limited, just enhanced auto, area effect, throw a blast, and then turn to dragon that does the same thing, but bigger. I think they need to rework her and then get her into a fighting game, or very much do a lot of work to fix her up, but again, she could be. Singed, I don't think Singed could fit. Again, throwing chemicals maybe, flipping his opponents around, but the poison gas, no. Just running away the entire fight, no one wants to fight that. So yeah, no. Zion, I think, has a high chance. Big, heavy-hitting, engaged person. With full concept maybe after his life bar hits 0. He has a few moments before dying where he can continue his combo. The cool concept. Sivir, very much limited because of Boomerang. Say no. Skarner, again, sorry, this post is using the old image, but even modern Skarner, I would say could be, not guaranteed, very limited still. on certain abilities, but he does have engage, does have some hit combos. Probably the ultimate would not be as we think it is. Maybe it's a slam attack or a grab. Let's see. Burn again, probably not. Sona, no. Most likely no. I could think of probably a way to do her in a style of like close to mid-range kind of like sound wave attacks, but overall, again, her CCE would not be as effective and her healing probably nothing at all. Soraka, I don't think, no. Again, limited as a healer. Swain, I love Swain, but I think he's a could be. There is a chance he's a most likely, but again, his pull very much a control ability, area denial with his blast, and his also little circle eye. His ultimate basically enhanced form, but again, there just is that thing of he's good as a burst mage, but would that translate into a fighting game? Maybe, but overall, I'd say it's a could be, not a guaranteed. Sorry. Silas, most likely. Again, good engage, good swing, good combos. Normal hits his punches, while heavy hits could be chain attacks. Literally chain attacks. His ultimate, though, I don't know how that translates. If the idea that he steals someone else's super move. That's the part that I think would be interesting to see. Syndra, I don't think so. Just too much range CC built for her. Tom Kench, I would say, is a could be. Again, engage, tongue attack, devour might be a hard hit attack or part of a combo, sort of a grab into a throw, into a heavy. Overall, there's possibility, but again, his size is his biggest downfall. Talia, I think because of the uniqueness of how she can mold rock and the different things she could do. Again, in lore she has a lot, but in game it's limited, but I think she is a most likely as a ranged person, even though probably her range would be very much weakened. Talon, yeah, he's most likely. Again, probably remove the invisibility and just make his ultimate a super that just is an animation of damage. But yeah, Tarek, I say, is a could be, limited more so because, again, heal, CC, and survivability ultimate. But the stars could be other things, maybe an explosion, an area denial, a straight damage attack. We don't know. They have to branch him out more. I don't think Teemo could be in the game. He's just dart, poison, and traps, and small model, similar to Heimerdinger. It'd be just annoying to fight. Thresh, I think, is most likely. Engage, hard-hitting, chain combos, and yes, again, chain, literally. Overall, I think he would be an interesting opponent. His ultimate, I think, is the only thing that I feel like would be probably limited. Tristana is a could be. Again, small model, but also very much good engage. Just the issue of range. She has to balance her range. Which is funny, because I'm pretty sure she's one of the champions and get like the longest range in the game, maybe? Don't quote me on that. But yeah. Trundle, again, kit-wise, he is just a big stick combo fighter, but his ice pillar could be a sort of knock up or area denial. His chomp could just be a heavy attack. His freeze area could probably just be a quick, like, speed boost, get closer, or a quick enhancer kind of combo. Overall, though, I think he could be, honestly. Like, he's gonna be in the game. Trendemir, same. The only part I don't know about Trendemir to balance, again, he'd have an air denial / dash this ability. His taunt, I don't think, or taunt, not really, more of his like slow, whatever you'd like to call it. I don't think that would be implemented very well, but him fully, I feel like, would work. Mechanic like the rage would be interesting to see how they work that into it, maybe more damage as he goes. Overall, I think the only thing that holds him back also is his unkillable, if that'd be actually a thing he'd have. Twisted Fate is a could be. Again, ranged mage, limited sort of card combos. The idea though also maybe swap between our cards. Gold stun probably wouldn't be a thing, but blue for hard damage, red as an area damage. If you're a ranged opponent, basically, someone who uses a lot of ranged combos, say like in a Dragon Ball game, Twitch I don't think would fit in the game or work. Udyr, most likely, honestly. Big guy transforming would probably be combo moves to give him different bonuses, different kind of effects for his stuff. Be an interesting concept for the character. Urgot is a could be. Again, close range, there's possibility for combos and cool moves. Biggest issue very much being balancing the range, not letting him have it execute, of course, and his size. Varus, similar to Ashe with attacks, but very much limited because, again, it's usually just arrow or brute. So I'd say no. Vayne, funny enough, is who was somewhat early with Ashe, the one where I was like, oh, very much has a high chance, Ashe, because of the whole like combo of being mobile, different attacks and abilities. Vayne's similar, different silver bolts and tactical moves, but she actually does have a combat roll dodge, so I would say Vayne does have one of the highest chances of being in the game. Veigar, I love him, but honestly, I don't think he could be in the game. Too much range, not enough concept I can think of. Vel'Koz, on the other hand, I think does have a concept. Again, tendril attacks, blast attacks, denial, knockups, area, damage, in a line basically. He'd be a pain in the ass, but he'd be one that still would be fun to fight against and fun to play as, and again, to remove being basically his annihilation. Vex, I feel as it could be. Again, similar to Annie, very much using Shadow to do a lot of the fighting while she's being lazy. Let's be real, Vi's gonna be in the game. Similar to how Set's gonna be in the game. It's just their style of punch combo and all that. Viego, I also do feel like could very much most likely be in the game. Which I keep saying could be when I put in most likely, but I mean most likely when I say that. Because again, combo style, mobility, and all that. I feel like his biggest issue really would be, instead of stunning his opponent, his dash punch would probably be a engage hit that starts a combo. Execution wise, probably not have that. Also doesn't have an execute, but more percentile damage attack, but probably be more of his meter ability, if not his remove. His visibility is the biggest issue with the Mist. Again, I feel like it'd be more of a sort of ability with him, where he's building up Mist power, maybe. But overall, I'd say Viego would be in the game. How would his ultimate work is the problem, because would he still transform? That would be a pain in the ass, because imagine having... Because, again, doing it league-wise, it's not as bad, because it's only for a few seconds, and champions, they all very much have just, like, the basic understanding abilities, 3 abilities, and that. Meanwhile, in a fighting game, you'd have to know all these characters' abilities and how their combos would work. Otherwise, you're just disadvantaging yourself. So that's the biggest issue, I'd say, for Viego. Victor, I would say no. Actually, I would say there's a could be. There's a concept there, I'd feel like. Victor-wise, sort of like maybe normal attacks would be swings, with lasers being his actual heavy attacks. His stun being not a thing he'd have. His laser blast would probably be an area denial. His storm being an ultimate such. There's the idea of sort of not him fighting you, but more of him using machinery that fights you. Very arrogant in his movement. So like Dr. Doom, honestly. Vlad is could be. Very much no healing at all, which would be the big difference between him in game. But again, blood drain attacks, dodging by going into a puddle, area burst with blood, slapping with blood. It's a concept, honestly, that's just very much there and doable. Volibear very much will probably be in the game. Again, biggest issue for him is his size and how would his ult work. Maybe, again, a meter move that enhances his abilities for a short bit, but overall, doable. Same thing with Warwick. I feel like very much doable with a concept of as you beat your opponent with combos, probably gets more of his rage and bloodlust. His ultimate, again, probably just being a meter move. Wukong, again, very much a guaranteed kind of style. Clone would probably be more of a dodge kind of style thing. Again, it's the idea of like which one's him, but probably wouldn't be as much as Fiddlestick's one. If not the idea of just similar to Shaco, where his clone would also hit you. Xayah is could be. And it's because I don't think Xayah's moves would fit as well into a fighting game, the feather throwing attacks. But if they add Rakan, they're going to add Xayah. They're going to find a way to add her. Which is the one time I feel like a champion that should be in the not likely is in the could be, because Xayah's only there because if Rakan gets in, she automatically gets in. Xerath, no. Nothing really at all I can think of. It's very much in his lore even that he's a pit fighter, so yeah. Xin Zhao is the most likely. Combos work well. Same very much with Yone. He's getting in there for free. Not because he's Yasuo's brother, but more so because, again, combos, dashes, hard hit moves, understanding basically the idea of like going between like the light attacks being his normal sword, the Asakana sword being the heavy attacks probably. Then you get the balance between going from light heavy kind of style. Yorick, I think, is a could be. Again, his mist little gremlins and the maiden are the parts that I feel like limit him. I don't think you could add them really, unless, say, again, throws them at the enemy. But overall, shovel attack, very much doable. And honestly, yeah, he's something that could be molded into a fighting game character, but it'd take a bit. Sort of like a lot of his attacks would probably be his mist guys being used as weapons instead of him throwing or hitting you or something. Nor the cat. The cat doesn't have any viability as a fighting game character. Zac is a could be a high, most likely, I'd say. Again, passive, no, but overall, stretch your strings, engage, dash, slap around, all that kind of stuff. Bouncing, knockups, all that. Combo-wise, I feel like he's doable. Zed, I would say, does fall in the most likely. Very much dashes, attacks, swings, engage. It wouldn't be the pokes you down with shurikens like you would see normal Zed do in game. I would say for the fighting game, he is more of a in-your-face, quick damage, dash to the side, try to perform a combo again. I'd say no to Zeri, mainly because, again, her abilities require terrain a bit, and require a lot of just being mobile and away from you. Same with Ziggs, really. The concept of the bomber, which actually, there could be a way for Ziggs to be in the game, but it would probably very much be having to like shoestring thing together. A lot harder than it would be for Yorick, let's say, basically. Bazillion, again, similar to Ziggs. The only real thing he has, though, is one bomb, while the rest of him is support tools. Zoe has ability of being the most annoying ranged character that would be allowed in this game, I feel like. And I hope that I am wrong and she is never in this game. Zyra is limited, Zyra, very much limited, all that. These are the last three because they're the newest, which I realize Aurora's not here, which Aurora, I would say, could be not likely champion because some of her kit could behind the enemy, but then she has a backdash slow, which could be a thing, but a lot of her attacks are ranged. Limited, really, so I would say no to her. Briar, on the other hand, is most likely, again, very much an engage, aggressive, quick in, slap, do lots of way. I feel like, again, he has the combos that could. The issue is a lot of those combos are range, so they'd probably have to make a lot of new combos for him. And Smolder, no, he is very much a too much of an annoyance, I'd say. So, yeah, I would say no to Smolder, because, again, a lot of stuff is range, running away, keeping your distance. Not really fun to fight a game. But there you have it, folks. This is the list of the already in, the most likelies, the could be's, and the not likely. Comment down below if there are some champions you'd like to move around, like concepts you have for like what these champions kits could be. Give me your opinion. Again, I do play a bit of fighting games in the past, but I haven't done much recently in a long while. So I'm always listening to hear you out and see like, hey, no, Hex, you're wrong. I know exactly how so-and-so champion from the not likelies is going to fit perfectly in the most likelies. And I swear to God, there's going to be one person who is going to argue the cat has a full kit. Someone's going to come up with a full kit for Yumi in my comment section. I know one friend who will try to argue Soraka, and I bet you I can name another person who'll try to argue Seraphine. I'm pretty sure the Seraphine community is probably arguing the fact that they could think of a combo kit. And again, I'm down to hear these. So, leave those comments down below. If you liked the video, though, leave a like, share if you will, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.